One question I often get asked is, why did I leave Dubai? Why did I leave teaching in Dubai to move back to the UK? Well, funnily enough, I'm on holiday at the moment for a wedding here in Dubai, so I'm going to take you around a little bit of my day while answering that question, giving a few different reasons. But at the moment, we are rushing around. I suppose that's one of the reasons, or it actually makes up two of the reasons. So let's get started with the day, and I'll explain some different reasons as we go along. Cheers. Reason number one is rushing. But what I mean by that is rushing around. Before we even came to Dubai on holiday, we kind of laughed that already it feels like everything was jam-packed. Every single day we had something planned and everything was a rush already. So you often feel like when you're working in Dubai that you're rushing from A to B and things are extremely busy, and that can be both a positive, because you know, being busy is better than not being, I suppose, but then the negative is that when you're living that 100% of the time, then you can not realize what it is to be kind of relaxed and normal. And I guess traffic comes into that because it's so busy, everyone's getting everywhere, and it can be quite busy on the road. In addition to that, I suppose what I mean is that when you're living in that fast lane, which Dubai is, 100% of the time it increases your stress, and too much stress over a long period of time can affect other elements of your life. Increased cortisol can have lots of scientific negative effects, but some people might want to move to the UAE but not really consider that there are other locations that you can move to. Sharjah, Abu Dhabi offer a slightly slower pace of life. There are other places such as Qatar that also offers another different pace of life, but still comes with the benefits of moving to Dubai. But I know that for some people this faster pace of life, especially in the 4.5 day working week, is a benefit. And I think that 4.5 day working week, because you're squeezed into that shorter amount of time, that does increase the pressure within that working week. But then some people will state that they benefit from that 2.5 day weekend, where you kind of are able to rest and reset them for another intensive week. So pros and cons, but too much stress for a longer period of time for me personally was a little bit demanding. I'm looking forward to a kind of slower pace of life, perhaps. Whether the UK offers that, I'm not too sure, but perhaps, you know, if you're in a similar position looking at other places, then there are those places that I mentioned that might offer that too. Okay, it's still been a busy day, still been rushing around, but I've just got to Dubai Mall now, and it's reminded me of another reason. Dubai Mall parking has recently changed so that you have to pay after a certain amount of hours. Now that doesn't sound big on the grand scale of things. However, this is the same with many things in Dubai. Like maybe a couple of years ago, you could go to most places free, Blue Waters, La Mer, which doesn't even exist now, for free. Nowadays it's paid for, which is quite frustrating. You know, you can't really go to places and park at them for free. You know, you're going to go and spend money at those places anyway, maybe buy a coffee, buy something, but nowadays you have to pay for parking as well. It's just one of those things that makes you start to go, okay, well, if I'm going to have to pay for this parking and then maybe that parking later on in the day, certain places then when they introduce the parking become a lot quieter because people don't want to go to them, i.e. La Mer, and then because they're quieter they close down. La Mer was a beautiful beach, it was absolutely stunning, but because it became quieter, in my opinion, perhaps because of the parking, then there's less places to go to and less things to do. There are still loads of different things to do, but however, we'll go with it. However, many of those things are now paid for, and amongst the increase in prices and rent and other bits and pieces like that, it is an additional expense that you do need to consider. Not the worst thing in the world, you do get the pay because of the tax-free element that comes with living in Dubai, but it's just something that you perhaps need to consider. Today has been incredible. It's been a really, really nice opportunity to go back into school. Lots of people saying like, oh, will you move back to Dubai, things like that. And for me personally, I'm still in that position where I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that, because one of the big things that I gain by coming back to the UK is flexibility. Now, I've been incredibly honest about this in the past. It's one of the big things that when I did my I'm leaving Dubai video, I'll put that in whatever corner it is, I did say that that's one of the reasons why I was leaving, to get that flexibility back. In the UK, you can get part-time teaching. Here in Dubai, obviously, the employers pay for your visa. And what that means is that they're paying for the visa, they want the full value out of you as a person, basically. So they're not going to give you a part-time visa, but because they're not giving you part-time visa, if you want to go part-time, you have to sponsor yourself. And what that means is then you sponsor yourself, so you set up a company, you pay for yourself to have a visa, medical insurance. Then because you're part-time, you lose your housing allowance. So part-time is possible. The pay isn't as good for like supply teachers here compared to the UK, but it's one of those things where you start to look at the overall packages and it's just like, it's not a feasible financial option. It's a huge, massive commitment immediately in terms of upfront costs. So a lot of people just think, like, the general consensus is that part-time isn't really a feasible thing. Some people go through the tutoring route, which is not something I was looking to do immediately. But in the UK, you know, you have part-time contracts that pop up, which don't in the UAE. You've got supply teaching, which is huge. Flexibility. But I would say if you're coming out here and you're thinking, right, I'm going to come out, be a full-time teacher, which most people are, then the advantages are huge. And I've spoken about the pros and cons. Again, another video that you can go and check out, and might as well plug the guide at this point. If you are interested in working and teaching in Dubai and this video has not put you off, then I create lots of different content about supporting teachers in the process of coming to the UAE, teaching out here, moving here, all the different steps that you need to consider, and you can check that out on my website, teachtraveltriumph.com. I think it's always really important with these types of videos to be dead honest about things, and if you are still in that position where you're like, okay, this is for me, then those options are there for you. But I hope that these transparent talks still put you in good stead to kind of come out here too. Right, I've got to go meet a friend. I said I was rushing, I'm still rushing, but let's go and enjoy. I can't pretend that I was able to finish the video yesterday. It is now the next morning. I jumped back into the rat race that is living and I guess teaching in Dubai, and all of a sudden the day went. So from where I filmed in the mall, I raced across the mall, got some food. Food was great, but as you can say, the day just went. I find that this is something that happened more and more frequently, is that the days would just go. The 4.5 day working week probably did contribute to this quite a lot. You know, you only have a certain amount of time to get things done within the working week. You've got a certain amount of curriculum that you have to teach anyway. The curriculum still doesn't change. In fact, there's more curriculum because they have to do Arabic and other subjects like MSCS. But you still have to teach all of that in a shorter amount of time. So there is a lot of tremendous, you know, pressure to get things taught, get things done. I find that quite challenging. Now, if we talk about one of the other points of why I left, it's the frequency and amount of people from all over the world really who have come over to Dubai, UAE, over the last kind of 2 years, since COVID really. There has been a huge influx of people coming over to Dubai, and it's been quite challenging in terms of how the expense of everything has gone so significantly higher. In the past, my apartment used to be 70,000 in downtown Dubai. I know I made a recent video saying that that same apartment is now 110,000, but now we had a look since we've been here, it is 135,000 dirham, which is absolutely bonkers. Going up that much in such a short period of time, I find that this is the same with absolutely kind of most things, to be fair, is that the cost of things have just gone absolutely bonkers, yet the pay for many teachers is the same. Is it still worth it? Well, I think if you're coming over as a couple, then, you know, if you get 2 accommodation allowances, then that's perfect. However, I would say nowadays for teachers, make sure that the school are giving you some sort of accommodation to start you off, because that's definitely going to put you in good stead in regards to like being able to live out here in the first place, because otherwise it can be a little bit of a financial challenge, I guess. So it's just something to be aware of. I think it's always really important for me to give you transparency, especially when you're making such a big move. Look at that view though, I mean, that makes up for it. And this is something that I want to say. There are so many things that are kind of negative or challenging about living and teaching in Dubai, but there are so many positive things. I think one more thing that I found personally quite challenging, the rat race kind of culture, I think really had an impact on my well-being. I struggled a lot with my health and well-being here in Dubai. I think because there are so many, again, this is one of the benefits of being in Dubai, there are so many
different things that you can do in this tremendous place, yet there is only a certain amount of time because you work for so long to do them. So the idea of going to the gym and looking after your health and things like that is kind of the last thing that you really want to do. And I definitely feel like some people manage it. Personally, my health and well-being took a slump. That's my own personal thing, and that can be controlled if you're a very different person to me. I came out here like a fitness buff guru, and I really struggled to kind of keep on top of my fitness, but other people will find it a lot easier. So that's a few of the reasons why I left. I think rat race can be a bit like that, but you can say the same about the UK, to be fair, and I'm going back there, so it could be exactly the same, except without this beautiful weather, cost, my own health and well-being, and I think that would be generally kind of it. 4.5 day working week it was an interesting one, but some people absolutely love that. Oh, flexibility, all of those different changes, all those small incremental things added up to me just wanting a bit of a change, to be honest with you. Am I gonna miss things like this? I mean, look at it, look, this is beautiful. Yes, absolutely, I'm gonna miss things like this, and maybe in the future I come back, but for now these small changes have made me want to try something different. But it's not to forget that if you are in a position where you're thinking of coming out here to Dubai, please don't let my opinions alter your opinion. Come out here, experience it, see what it's like to come on holiday, understand that coming out here on holiday is different to coming out here to work, but experience what this place has to offer, because it does have so many tremendous pros. Like I've said, I've made videos about the different pros and cons of living in Dubai in the past, and for many the pros do simply outweigh the cons, so it's worth checking out. And if you do want to go and check out what it's like to get a job out here, what it's like to move out here, I've got all sorts of free information, and of course my guides are available on my website, Teachtraveltriumph.com, so feel free to go and check that out, and I look forward to hearing how you get on with everything. If you have enjoyed this video, make sure you stick around, subscribe, all that business, and hopefully I'll see you in another one. Until then, I'm out.